Hello guys, it's me Jasmine once again. I'm going to share with you with our recent trip to Guvrin, Maresha, and this time the other part. The archaeologists uncovered a complete Roman amphitheater in the northern part of the park, part of the bathhouse from those times, and an impressive Crusader fortress. A wooden path leads to the underground access and to other impressive part of the fortress. So, let us start because this is an amazing journey. The main point of interest are, of course, the Roman amphitheater, the ruins of the Roman city, Crusader fortress, and fort. So there is an observation point from the top of the amphitheater. The archaeologists uncovered the activities to improve services to visitors and to conserve the site. So they prepared the parking area, installed bathrooms, and added a explanatory sign. They preserved the amphitheater and restored it for visitors and performances, and it is responsible for archaeological digs at the site and the antiquities unearthed there. So in order to get there, how to get there? The entrance to the site, the northern city, is very close to the gas station near the Kibbutz Bet Guvrin or the Highway 35. Background. After the Bar Kokhba revolt, 135 to 132 CE, Bet Guvrin became the central city of the Roman province of Idumea. So during these years, 199 to 200, the city was awarded the status of polis, and the rulers even minted its own coins, marking them with the city's official name, the Lucia Septimia Severa Eleutheropolis, or the city of the freemen, or Eleutheropolis for short. At that time, magnificent public buildings were being constructed there, as you see, such as the amphitheater and the bathhouse, the remains of which were uncovered in the national park. During the Byzantine period, Bet Guvrin became an important Christian center, serving as the bishop's center or residence and one of the 5 largest cities in the land of Israel following the Arab conquest in the 7th century. The city was named Bet Guvrin, a name that preserved the ancient Hebrew name of the city. The city fell from its former glory but continued to be an important local center. In 1099, the Crusaders conquered the land of Israel and established the Kingdom of Jerusalem. In 1134, Philip, the Crusader king, decided to fortify the southern border of the king and built a fortress in Bet Guvrin. 2 years later, the fortress was handed over to the Knights of the Order of St. John, the Hospitallers. They expanded the fortress and thoroughly reinforced it. Under the protection, civilian settlements developed it. The ruins. During the Roman period, the town of Bet Guvrin was built in the ruins of the ancient city. So, walking routes, the amphitheater. It's located near the northwestern corner of the Roman city. Public buildings were built at the start of the 3rd century. Modern bridge leans on the Roman city wall and leads to the amphitheater's wooden stands. In some places, the height of the preserved wall reaches 4 meters. The digs uncovered the amphitheater almost in its entirety. This is the only architectural and archaeological finding of its kind in the Middle East. The amphitheater at Bet Guvrin was intended from the beginning for gladiator fights and for human fights against wild animals, and we can assume that marches, military trainings, spectacular shows were probably also held. Other Roman buildings that were used as amphitheaters, such as in Bet Shemesh and the Nablus in Caesarea, were previously hippodromes intended for chariot races. The original stands of the amphitheater had between 9 and 11 rows for some 3,500 spectators. The spectators entered through a four-arched entranceway that led to their seats. The original seats were all gone, and many of them were used as building materials for later buildings. Opposite the new wooden stand, we can see the original dignitaries sitting in the southern part of the amphitheater. In the first row above the arena, the stand is situated such that the sun shines from behind and does not dazzle the spectators. From the stands, one can go down to the arch service corridor. There is access to it from the inclined plane that leads down to the arena, next to the bridge that goes out to the stands. The corridor was excavated in this entirety and can be walked right around. Note the small room, 3.2 by 3.8 meters in the western wall of the corridor. Archaeologists identify this as the amphitheater's room of worship, or the sacellum. An underground staircase and short tunnels led from the small room to area of underground access. The gladiators and animals waited there before entering the arena. The small temple may have been designed as a place of worship for the competitors. From the arch corridor to go out to the arena and try to imagine the excited crowd watching the gladiator fights. The amphitheater served its purpose for at least 150 years. In the Middle Ages, it was used mainly as a stable, but was used for industrial purposes. During the Ottoman period, the amphitheater was abandoned and filled up with dirt and trash. Now, let's proceed to the adjacent structure, which is the Crusader fortress and church. The Crusader fortress is much smaller than the Roman city, but its design was strongly influenced by the structure. The trail goes from the amphitheater and passes by a half-octagonal tower in the southwest corner of the fortress wall. Here, the wall turns east and continues to the Crusader church. The church is a typical basilica with a nave and two aisles. It was built shortly after the internal citadel of the fort, which is adjacent to the church. For building, the Crusaders used pillars, capitals, floor tiles, and every ancient architectural item that could serve them. Almost all the parts are from the Roman Byzantine period. The southern aisle was not preserved. The northern aisle was relatively well preserved, both because it is adjacent to the inner fort's southern wall and because it later became a mosque. The prayer niche, the mihrab facing Mecca, is quite evident in the southern wall of the aisle. In the apse of the northern aisle, there is a niche with an opening through which water flowed. The water may have been considered holy and may have been used for ritual purposes. The fort was built on the foundations of the Roman bathhouse. The remains of the two periods are mixed together. The site also has remained from the Mamluk and the Ottoman periods. The fort is a fortress in its own right and can hold even if the enemy manages to penetrate the outer fortifications. It is built of rooms surrounding a courtyard. The first room that receives the visitors is the fort's dining room. The remains of four apses by the fort wall are evident. Two to the left of the wooden path, one where the opening, and to the right of the path, stone. Stone pillars that were cut in two placed on the ground and used as tables. The remains of the Roman bathhouse are substantial. in the western part of the fort, and one can only pick of them from the trail. This is the only imperial bathhouse found to date in Israel. It is worthy of the title imperial for at least two reasons. It imitates the plans of bathhouses in Rome, the capital, and its bath size. It extends over an area of 10 dunam. The trail continues to the stairs that lead down to the impressive underground apses from the Roman period. So the archaeologist suspects or suggested that the Roman temple at Guvrin, Maresha may have been established during the last and most significant of these uprisings. The revolt led by the Bar Kokhba in 132 AD. According to the historian Cassius Dio, the revolt led to the deaths of 500,000 Jews and the destruction of close to 1,000 Jewish villages in the province. A 2019 study published by Peleg Barkat found that the region around the temple was heavily populated by Jewish communities prior to the revolt, reiterating the extent to which their war with the Rome affected them. So they cited that it might have erected by the Romans in defense of the Bar Kokhba revolt and likely doubled as a symbol of the Romans' victory and a message warning the former Jewish occupants not to return to this place because they want to occupy this place.